afternoon, everybody. Well, it's a good afternoon here in the Lowveld of South Africa on the Rietspruit Game Reserve. It is a beautiful day and it's nice to be out. The temperatures are great. There's a little bit of wind around, which is bringing some clouds in. But all in all, it's beautiful out here this afternoon. I am on presenter job today. Obviously you can say that. Gareth. I was going to say I'm on camera, but I'm not. I'm in front of camera. And then on camera is Andrew, and on FC is Basil. And I'm glad I still have Andrew because he is chuckling away as I didn't introduce myself correctly.
You can take over camera if you want.
I can take over camera. Yeah, Andrew and I can switch and then you can judge my camera skills. Let me just... don't need an update. I was getting ready to update. It is beautiful. I'm just going to stop here. There's a bit of an open gap. You can see the clouds sort of in the east there. Nice big dark clouds over the Kruger National Park. But it's nice clear skies above us, not much coming over the Drakensberg, so we should have a safe 2 hours of this game drive. But it is a bit windy. There the Drakensberg. Mountains are, you can see a little bit of clouds there, but nothing really dark and threatening coming up from behind those mountains. So it is a pleasant afternoon here, and the only plan that I really have for the afternoon is to go out and see if we can do some birding. I opened up my bird app this morning, having seen a jimajeen or an African harrier hawk, and I was disappointed with what I've got so far this year. I think I was sitting on 32. And Andrew and I have been out for about 20 minutes already, and my list already at 38 or 39. But we're going to see how much we can get from here. We're going to enjoy the drive, doing some birding. We are kind of in the southeast of Blowbank at the moment. We'll make our way down towards Sequoia and then maybe make our way into the central parts of Blowbank around Boskamp and Seskant, maybe Kudukrip, and have a look around there a little bit later. It would be amazing if we could get that leopard again, but as you know, that's Brent's luck. One drive and he gets a leopard, although it was brief. We did check the footage afterwards and there's one frame where the leopard's running across the road, so he wasn't lying to us. We did go out and do some frogging last night, which was quite fun. And Brent was convinced he saw another leopard, but I think it was some red eyes of an animal with a spotlight. Unconfirmed leopard, could as well be a scrub hare. But we'll go about and see what we can find. There's not much on the radar, not much at all, actually. There was a report of some rhinos north of Boskamp, but it was only reports. There wasn't actually a sighting, so we didn't go up there knowing that they've in all likelihood gone into the thicker bush, and there's still no off-roading on the reserve. Kevin's actually out at the moment assessing the off-roading situation. I'm sure we'll be able to drive on sort of sandy crests that have drained well in the last week, but avoiding drainage lines and things like that, seep lines where one may get stuck pretty easily. How is everybody feeling today after yesterday's updates? Had 24 hours to digest that and think about it. Let me know how you're feeling. I did have a quick look at the chat just now, and some of you are saying savouring these last few drives. I am too. It's nice to be out and about, but it's not the end of the drives. As Brent said, there would be one a month, and then also if we have enough people booked on a Zoom drive every now and again, we'll definitely do that. And if you've got existing vouchers or credits, those are also valid. We're not taking that away from you. Oh. Just coming up along this drainage line, see if we get any tracks or signs at the bottom of the drainage line. If you see me going on my phone like this, I'm adding birds to a list. But I will call them out as I see them, and hopefully we'll see if Andrew can get the camera on them, but it's not always possible, especially if it's a fleeting glimpse as they fly across the road in front of us, which we had just before we went live. We had a brown-hooded kingfisher doing that. And for those of you that weren't with us on Monday, this week's keyword is perched of a white chipped on the head. I think it's a knobthorn tree. It's a photograph that I took on my recent trip into the Timbavati. So get your hands on that. There are some tracks here. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's in the soft sand of this little riverbed. It's kind of why I wanted to come. I don't know if Andrew can get it. It's probably not that clear. But the tracks here, it looks like it is a cat and not a hyena. The back pad is here and the toes are there, but it's not great. It has been rained on as well, so it's not fresh at all. But looking at the size, it could be a male leopard, but it's not brilliant. There's another track here. I think it probably is a male leopard. Is this where you're driving?
This is one of the places I saw that.
Is it these tracks? Okay, that you saw on Tuesday morning Zoom. But look how beautiful that drainage line is. A warm welcome to all of our pack members. Just going to see who's joined us this afternoon. Carol, it's really good to see that you've got your blue highlighted name again. I don't know what happened there. I do apologize again. I'm glad we could sort that out. Hi, Bob, Mary, Jennifer, Betty, Jan, Di. Who else have we got? Connie, Rosemary. I think that is everything. Yeah, I think I've seen everybody. If I've missed you, let me know. I'm just going to get out of this drainage line and then I'll see some of the comments. So I think that male leopard probably walked here a couple of nights ago, and the track's just been preserved quite nicely in that softer sand of the river. The softer sand of the riverbed is just holding that track quite nicely. I suspect in this area it's probably the blowbunk male. This is that area that was burnt in late September, early October? Early October. And it is looking absolutely beautiful. The grass has come back really well. It is a little bit thinned out compared to before the fire. You can see some of the examples where the trees have been killed in the fire and haven't recovered. They're not coppicing, which means we can see a little bit further into the blocks. Okay, so Kevin's found one of the male lions. He has been looking. I don't know where, so I'm sure we'll get an update. There's a lot of ash from this tree, and the way I first saw it, it looked like it was still smouldering, which would be rather incredible, but I think it's just the way the light hit the ash behind the branch with my eyes. It is a leadwood stump, so sometimes they smoulder for weeks, if not months, because of how dense that wood is. It slowly burns, and if it's burning on the inside of that harder sort of outer bark. What was there?
I thought it looked like a slender mongoose.
A slender mongoose. Did you drive here on Monday?
Yes.
And there were dog tracks here.
Male line is still walking. I think he's going down into the drainage line off Cubs track for a drink. And he's very smelly. I think he's come from a carcass that he's been rolling in.
Ah, what are they? Dwarf. Okay, so Cubs track, that's way up in the north of Blowbunk. Maybe from here we can actually make our way up there. It seems like there's the little dwarf mongoose. Have a look at that. Coming out onto the road for us. They might have a big kill up there, so if they can find the kill and we can off-road, that'll be great, but we'll just wait and see what Kevin says. We're far away, but we will make our way in that direction if there's some progress in that sighting. It's very smelly, the report on the radio, which suggests it's a big kill that they've been on. There's more dwarf mongoose in front. Look at these little ones. As soon as we get the camera on, there's one on the right now, Andrew. There we go. How cute are they? Oh.
Keep it like that.
Yeah, we'll just sit here another minute or so and just see if any more cross the road there. I wonder if the whole group has crossed already. Ah, there's another one. Scurrying across. So Mary, Andrew did end up sort of sitting in the water. We were filming a scene, and I'm sure you will.
Settle down near two females. We're not at the carcass. The carcass is further south from where I am. I put a pin in the group. It's not too far off Cubs track, and this area is traversable off-road.
Okay, cool. Just listening to the radio there. Sorry to stop sort of talking, but there's two females, one of the male lions, and that area we can be off-roading. So we'll probably head up there from where we are now. Take a slow bumble up there, maybe get there a little bit later and see if there's some activity. So that's pretty awesome. Rhett's helmet strike just flew over the road above Andrew's camera. They are a very cool bird. I will show you a picture of them on my phone actually, because our little dwarf mongoose have run off, and I shall also get back to the story of Andrew in the waters. So there's a Rhett's helmet strike. They live in these little groups.
Sammy, I think the carcass is south of
But it is a pretty...
if you look in the group, you'll pick up a pin. So you go
Sorry.
off Vultures onto Cubs.
It is a pretty bird, related to the white crested that we see quite a bit. You can always jumping around, moving together, just like the white cresteds that we see often. I love the little red wattle around the eye. They've got these sort of almost laser-like calls, and quite distinct. Alrighty. So Andrew was filming Brent and he was getting really low, crouching down, and he ended up sitting in the water, but like hovering sitting, which was quite amusing, and you shall see that in time. Let's keep going down the road. And let me see what else we... Oh, there's lots of comments to get through, which is really nice. And everybody that might be joining us on the public channel, hello. Enjoy the drive this afternoon. Yeah, so it's a bit of a change for us after yesterday's update. Not have live drives on a consistent basis, and obviously the zooms, but it does mean we can focus on the conservation stuff. As Brent mentioned yesterday, it means we can expand on that offering that we do provide, and we can try and create captivating stories, as well as continuing to follow the characters of the Rietspruit that you've come to know so well over the last few years. And we have one of them in the road in front of us. There's a white rhino. That's pretty cool. Who is it? I wonder, is it number 3? It looks like it's number 3. The big white rhino bull that we see around Haste quite often. You can see the notches in his, what is his left ear, when we're looking at him on the right hand side. There's a big notch on the inside and then at the bottom of it. And that's notch number 3, so it's nice to catch up with him. When we first arrived, he was always around Mumbadam and Haste. You'd see his tracks almost every morning when Victoria and I go for those walks that we do there. He's coming straight down the road towards us. You can see he's been lying in a pan, or is he going to come down the road? Or just go into the bush, into the bush. You can see on the side of his body there, he's been enjoying the cool water of a pan. See if we get another look at him through here. Otherwise, if he does come into the little bit more open back there, we might have to go back to that spot to get a glimpse, which we will do if we can't see him through here. Where's he gone? Yeah, he's trying to hide here behind the raisin bushes. I thought we were going to get him coming down the road. We might have a little bit of a gap, but it looks like he's going deeper rather than back down the road where there's more open, where we could see him again. We'll just see. Let's go back to that spot. He's just getting across. He's just getting into the more open stuff behind these thickets. There's the clearing that I want. Ah, he's not changed direction. What are you doing, boy? He's spun around like a spinning top to look in the direction that he's just come from. I wonder if he heard something up there that caught his attention. Andrew, there's not much of a gap. We'll just have to try on this side of this red bush willow. He comes through that gap. There, he's coming through the open now, behind the bush willow, but he's not really staying in the open stuff, unfortunately. He's going more into the thickets. And unfortunately, he's angling away from the road. But that was nice to see him briefly as he walked down the road. I thought he was going to keep coming down the road, but he's seems to be like he's on a little bit of a mission. You'll notice I've got this earpiece in this afternoon. I don't like it being on this side, but my batteries on these don't last that long anymore, so I'll swap this one out for the preferred side when I'm more sure of the lifespan on it, so I can end the drive on my preferred side. So I can't hear Andrew, and some green wood hoopoes flew over. You may have heard them, so let me just log it. We've come to the fence. That was not my intention. I've been chatting and lost track of where I was going. But what it has resulted in is a rhino sighting, so that's quite nice. Nice way to start our Wednesday afternoon. But like I was saying before the rhino, it is nice to spend some time with the characters and keep bringing them to you in the 3 episodes a week that we'll be providing. Oh, slender mongoose. So quick. And have a little bit more of a curated video output where we can still share what's going on out here with you all. It's always interesting to see where rhinos move between the wet season and the dry season. The dry season, this bull was always around Hace. There was the waterhole at Hace, the camp cam. There was also Mamba Dam with enough water for him, and then occasionally he would go down to Leopard Dam, and now he's all the way out here. So he's just shifted slightly now that water isn't restricting his movements. Little ring-necked dove was in the road, just flew up. And then birding so challenging. You see a little bird that stops on the top of a tree while flying, and then as soon as you think you can get it, it's gone. There's a ring-necked dove we can put on camera for those of you that need it for your lists. Used to be a Cape turtle dove, in case you're more familiar with the old names. That was nice and brief. Oh, really? Yeah. Andrew said he saw a black-collared barbet fly over the top of us. I didn't see it, so I can't add it to my list. I wonder if we're going to get some rain tonight. The wind is really starting to pick up a bit. all around us. The blue skies that were above us. Oh, Namakwa dove. Land, land, land. Oh, it was going to land in a nice tree there that Andrew quickly got to. Let's see if we can find it on the other side of these bushes, because that's a good one actually. There it is, straight at 9 o'clock on the acacia. It's a male Namakwa dove. How cool is he? I don't know. How many of you have got one of those on your lists?
I think I've only seen them twice before.
That's really cool to get. So the male has that sort of dark patch on the face and neck, whereas females don't have it. So that's the difference between the two of them. And when they fly, they kind of have the same orangey red wings that a emerald spotted wood dove have. But that nice long tail that you see there, that's seen in both of the sexes, males and females. And if you saw it sitting there with a short tail, you may think it's an emerald spotted wood dove. Very similar. That long tail is a giveaway straight away, and then that black on the male on the face and down the neck. It's widespread across southern Africa. You tend to see them a lot more in the sort of more arid areas. That's where you tend to see them a lot. Haven't seen them all that much on the Lowveld. But when I go home to Botswana, and to the Kalahari, Makgadikgadi, then you see a lot more of them. So I'm sure that's new for some of you. Okay, I'm glad he sat in a nice spot for us. That's nice to get him on camera. There's a little pan here. This time of the year is really good. What do they call this? Is this what they call Rhino pan? Eh? Maybe this is where number 3 came from, Ringo. I think so, yeah. It's these kind of pans in the long grass on the edge of the pan that you get some interesting birds at this time of the year that you don't typically see. Some birds like painted snipes or some of our crakes. It's always worthwhile just sitting a little bit. Even something like a dwarf bittern and something like this. There's quite a lot of water throughout here. We don't really see too much, but what you generally look for is just movement in the grass. In those kind of muddy sections there, exactly where Andrew is now. Just on the shore, you get them scurrying between little open patches. Things like maybe spotted crakes or striped crakes. Painted snipes. You do get bitterns that also sit in these kind of environments. Incredibly still, they're really hard to see sometimes. So you often have to sit for quite a while just watching a pan and having a look. And then you see them dart across a section, and once you get your eyes on them, you can follow them for a little while. Try and get an ID. It's not always that easy though. Jennifer, regarding the big tuskers, I haven't seen any of those really big tuskers yet. I have seen some bulls at Mala Mala and in the Kruger that have got some impressive sets of ivory, but I haven't seen any of those ones that are sort of touching the ground and the real famous ones. Even in Kruger, I've spent a decent amount of time in Kruger. I would like to have spent more time than I actually have, and I haven't seen any of these real big tuskers. I've been in the right areas. There's something on the right wheel track, like up against the fence there, or is it just a bolster? I think it's elephant dung and rocks behind it. Right on the edge of the fence there. I don't know if you can see. Am I going to get it? There. Nah. Yeah. If I point just over there, that's what caught my eye. In amongst the grass like that. I've been to, there's an elephant museum at Letaba in the Kruger, which is one of the rest camps. And I've seen the displays there of the skulls and the ivory of the big tuskers of Kruger, Magnificent 7, that all died of natural causes, and they are impressive elephants. I bought the book of the tuskers of Kruger, but I'm yet to see cinnamon-breasted bunting in the road in front of us, bouncing around there. There we go. You can see that cinnamon coloration bouncing up. Victoria and I are actually contemplating whether or not we should go to the Kruger maybe for her birthday next month, or on our next scheduled leave. Be great to see one of those tuskers. I've seen elephants with ivory that's probably half or 2/3 of the size of ivory like those tuskers have. But I'm still missing one of those really impressive males. I've seen some females with some long tusks as well. They're not as thick as the males, but they've got super long tusks. And on trips in Botswana, what's in front of us? Another rhino. 2 rhinos. Let's go catch up to these two and see who they are. There we go. I wonder if they've enjoyed Rhino Pan recently. Stations. There are 2 white rhinos on the southern fence line of Blowbunk, west of Hoekpad. They are mobile northeast. Oh, wrong channel. Stations. There are 2 white rhinos on the southern fence line of Blowbunk, west of Hoekpad. They're mobile northeast. Hey?
Said maybe you just radioed farm watch thing.
Baba Kevin, I'm coming down now.
Yeah, I switched the channel just now when they were talking a lot because I was trying to communicate something with all of you. And I'd forgotten I'd done that. I was wondering why it's so nice and peaceful. It will be good to see if we can get some notch numbers for them to share with Rhino Revolution. But they are walking into the block here. There they are. So they've definitely been lying in a pan. Look at them, covered in mud. There's a great angle for you all. Just try to get these sticks out of the way. There we go. No, it doesn't have a notch. It's Lula and Kalula. Hello girls, nice to catch up with you.
So you just keep going from where you are and then come down the hill.
Look at all that mud. I wonder if they were in Rhino pan with Ringo. Oh, there's a fork-tailed drongo. Following them as they walk through this long grass, they're disturbing insects. And as the insects are flying up, the drongo is swooping in to catch them. And then in the tree, top right of frame, you can see there's a white-backed vulture perched in that dead tree. Have a quick look at that for our list this afternoon. So these two girls have been enjoying that mud. It looks like they've come out of the mud more recently than Ringo has, because he just had a faint line, while these two have got mud on their horns there. You can see it's nice and fresh on their face. I was really hoping to see some rhinos today, so it's nice to have got a couple. Yeah, time will tell. Carol, Bob, whether they are one or both of them are pregnant. I think they were seen mating 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Almost 3 weeks ago.
It was the day before I got back.
No. Off they wander there. So, if that mating attempt was successful, in 16 months we will find out. Well, 15 months now we shall find out. You can see what I was talking about earlier with the trees that have been killed. These trees are all still dry. The rattling testiculars calling off to our left here. So these trees have been killed in that fire. Not happy about something after the rattling testicular was after a rodent of sorts. Alright, while they move off into the deeper bush, let's keep going, especially if we want to make our way up towards where those lions are. Nice to see the two of them. Oh, the grass is tall and thick after the fires. So from here we're going to go up to Mamba Dam, not Mamba Dam, Sikwe Dam. And then from there we're going to shoot up towards where the lions are and try and get them a little bit later. So we'll see if there's anything at Mamba. Why do I keep saying Mamba Dam? I'm thinking of Mamba Dam because of our frogging last night. Sequoia Dam. But it is, some of these roads are a little bit overgrown. You see, like that's your miss. So I want to go up Waterbuck Butt, which is where we are right now. I don't want to take the wrong one. Oh, what's that? Wait. And then I know there's been a lot of questions, especially at the beginning of drive, about the project that I'm going to be undertaking that Brent was talking about. It's very exciting stuff. But there's still so much to actually be planned, decided on. We pretty much have to engage, approach and engage all of the stakeholders in this area. At the moment it's kind of a good idea that I've spent a bit of time thinking about, time reading the scientific literature, and only really spoken to a couple of people about it. So Brent kind of let the cat out of the bag yesterday. But we at Painted Dog are really looking forward to the possibilities of this potential project and what we can learn from it, but also what we can give back to conservation and the management of these areas as a whole. But there's still a lot to iron out, and like I say, we've got to engage pretty much everybody that would potentially be involved in the project. We've had a few conversations. And now we're starting to expand on that.
The lines have now moved from where they were, now gone down towards the Denny.
Oh, the lions are moving around and thick stuff, so we shall see what happens, but we'll make our way up there nonetheless, unless we find something else en route. Andrew's telling me to find a leopard. I would love to find one. We're going to Sequoia, so maybe the leopard seen yesterday was Kudu Krip 2-3, kind of that area. You'd expect it to be her. And maybe there are some elephant tracks here. Now the ground is super hot. So maybe it was her and she's come down to Sequoia. She was just north of Leopard Dam. A lot forward to in that. Really in the foundation phases of the project, and the idea is to look at some of the species that move in between areas and under fences and whatever, and whatnot. And then continue investigating what possibilities are going to work best for that all. But as soon as we have a better idea as to what we're doing, once we've approached and engaged stakeholders in the area, we'll definitely have a chat on a Monday night. You'll sit down with me and we'll have a conversation about it, and I'll answer all of your questions. At the moment it's about going through the scientific literature, what's been published, what's known on those species, known in this area, what's relevant. We want to do work that contributes to conservation and management of species and the area, not just doing research for the sake of doing research. And I think that's really important, is to do work that has impact. And then to figure out what's the best methods to apply to such a project that would be the most impactful in terms of the data collection, and then how we use that data to inform management and conservation as a whole. So it has the potential to be a very big and broad project with multiple phases. We really are in the foundation phase currently and trying to figure out what's best to do. And there is the possibility of doing a PhD from the project, which is something that I've been considering for a while. I've never really had a project that has gripped me enough to want to do it. Oh, there's some waterbuck. I know you saw them on Monday here with, was it Monday or Tuesday? And yesterday morning, Andrew. Had them on the Zoom here at Sequoia, and there they are again. That might be all you see of it, that little flash through the bush. I haven't seen any more tracks for these elephants. I have had more rhino tracks on the road just now, but I didn't really take much notice of them because we've already seen some and we kind of want to go north rather than tracking. But let's see as we come out into the opening. Yeah, so there the tracks are there. They're not fresh rhino tracks. Are there any elephants? Look how full Sequoia Dam is. Just been sitting quietly for a little bit just to see if we can hear any sounds around the dam, potentially alarm calls. I thought maybe I'd heard a squirrel when we first stopped in the drainage line on the other side of the dam wall, but I haven't heard much more of that. There are some barn swallows that are having a drink from the dam by the sort of outlet here. Sweeping in to have evening drinks. Now that I've seen the blow here, I keep looking in that spot hoping to see him again. It's long grass. We'd do really well to see. So just stopping to see if we can hear Any elephants maybe on their way here after seeing those tracks earlier, but can't really hear anything. We'll go up to the wall and just have a scan from there where we have a bit of a vantage point. Beautiful time of day, that light's coming through so beautifully. It's under the clouds and above the mountains, so we're really getting some beautiful light now. Look at that. We're going to have to put the hammer down to get north from here, but that's a beautiful view. Look at the inlet to the dam, the water going all the way down the drainage line, the trees hanging over the drainage line there. It's absolutely beautiful. The silhouette of the mountain. The light is challenging Andrew a bit, yeah. That sun is bright, but look at that. It's such a beautiful setting at the moment. There's so much water in this dam. This would be wonderful for those elephants to come and have a splash. I'd love to be able to go around to that spot up there on the other side, but I'm still not too sure we can get there. How far back this water goes. But anyway, let's go. Let's make our way up north, otherwise we're never going to get to where these lions are. We're going to have to put the hammer down. What's our best route up? As soon as it starts to get a little drier, I'm going to come and walk the drainage line. I'll take Andrew with. That'll actually be quite a cool series. Yeah.
The fence line where it comes up.
Yeah. Blowbunk. The blowbunk male moving through here. Lots of vultures, are there vultures? The lions are, this is way, what is going on here? They're not vultures, it looks like yellow-billed kites, but there's like 6 or 7 of them. Is it just kites? Try to get a better angle now when we get closer. Yeah, it is yellow-billed kites. They're just flying around here. This, what's that, 3, 4? 4 of them. Maybe it's a pair that successfully raised 2 chicks. Oh, that's cool.
Where they going?
They're gone. They're off to the right here, 4 of them. Oh, there's a 5th one. I thought there were more just now. They're directly above us, which means Andrew doesn't really stand much of a chance here. He has to take them. Yeah, there he goes. There are 6, 2, 4, 6 yellow-billed kites. There's more, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8 yellow-billed kites. This is why at first I thought there were some vultures circling here. I thought maybe we're going to find the cheetahs on a kill or something, because the lions are in the north on a kill with vultures. So I thought if there's vultures circling here, maybe we've got something else like the cheetahs on a kill, but it's a group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 8 yellow-billed kites. I don't know if I've seen so many yellow-billed kites all together like this before. That's pretty cool. Alrighty, that's exciting. I think let's carry on. We've got a way to go. And give Andrew's back a bit of a rest here. We're trying to lean around to gone out of sight now anyway, so hold on everybody, hold on to your hats. We are going to go a little bit quicker so that we can spend some time up with the lions.
Yeah, go ahead, just confirm the photo area you're on is that big one that's quite eroded.
There's lots to look forward to in the months and years to come for Painted Dog TV. I think it's very exciting.
That big sort of from where you just come straight north. When that comes straight in west and toward north.
And it's good to have you all along for the ride.
Open area where there's no trees, not just a bit of erosion.
I think there's a lot of things that we can start playing around with in terms of the content that we bring you. The little weekly videos. A new kind of season of tales. We're going to have our work cut out for us as guides trying to get into these little photographic competitions that Brent's lined up for us. Not just the guides, everybody in the team. Obviously this research project that I'm going to be undertaking is pretty exciting, and it's Brent and VM are very supportive of it. It's really great. Contributes to what Painted Dog is doing in the conservation space, which is what they set out to do from the very beginning. So it's nice to be able to spend some time doing that. Is there anything you as the pack members would like to see us doing? I know live drives will be at the top of your list, but other than live drives, have you got any ideas? What's there? Another bird of prey here. We can, I think it might be a goshawk. We see if we can get an angle without all the bush. Is it a goshawk or is it another kite? It's a tawny eagle. Another one for our list this afternoon. Look at that big curved bill. Sorry, Carol, I knew somebody would say live drive, so I had to beat you to it. Okay, let's carry on up to the lions. Oh, another one. This one looks bigger. Is this a step? Ooh, this might be, might have been a steppe eagle. Steppe eagles, I'm actually going to do a comparison here on my phone for you, because steppe eagles and tawny eagles are very similar, and they are quite challenging to tell apart at just a glance. Steppe eagles are bigger. Okay, so there's your tawny. Doesn't want to let me in. Just want to get the measurements here. That's a 71 centimeters, and they're about 2 kilos. That's a tawny eagle. I'm going to do a comparison for you now. And then a steppe eagle is 77 centimeters and 2.5 to 3 kilograms. So males are 2.5 kilos and females are 3 kilograms. That's quite often the case in eagles, where the females are bigger than the males, and it stands 6 centimeters taller. And now I'm just going to do a quick comparison with the tawny. And if you look at them, why I said just now that it was probably a steppe is just because of that. So the steppe eagle's on the right and the tawny eagle's on the left. But because the tawny eagle has different morphs, I mean, if you compare those two together, you can see that it's not going to be super easy at a glance, and also for amateurs to tell the difference. I mean, look at those two. On the app, it obviously looks very different, but when you're in the field and you're trying to compare them, they are challenging. This bird looked just like this. It was darker, it just had a bit of a bigger appearance. And that tawny we saw just now is a really good comparison. It's that typical white color, that tawny, but very similar. Another big one that you look for is the gape, and it's going to be difficult. But the steppe eagle's gape, so the mouth, this section here, extends beyond the eye, where in the all right, a slight freeze there, but we're back. So you can see the difference there in the gape that I'm telling you. So the steppe eagle's gape extends beyond the eye, and you can see that quite nicely there, whereas the tawny eagle's gape stops kind of midway along the eye, and that's something you've got to look for really closely rather than just relying on the coloration. But that to me looked like a steppe eagle. I'm not going to put it on my list because you have to be 100% sure when you are doing these things, but it just felt bigger, and it had that dark coloration. But as you saw, those color morphs in the tawnies, there's such a variety of colors, from really pale ones that almost look a bit white to that typical color that we saw just now, and then a dark coloration. So you've got to be careful. But if it was I had to put a identification on that one, I would definitely say, well, Andrew says he can see it. Back?
In this gap, yeah.
Okay, Andrew says you can see it. I can't. I think maybe I'm a bit low. It's in that tree. All the...
Am I in the wrong tree?
Is there one to the left there? Andrew's convinced he's seen it.
Wait, I have to take the camera off. It's too low. I promise you there's a bird.
Andrew's convinced. There we go. There it is. So at this distance, it's going to be way too far. We'd have to have a look at that gape. It just looks bigger. And even at that distance, you can kind of see that gape seems to extend quite far back. But that's the reach of our lens. It's still going to be difficult, but if I had to put money on it, I would say a steppe eagle, but I'm not going to add it to my list. Sorry, I must wait for Andrew to load up. Okay, let's go. That's a good bird. That's a real good bird. Steppe eagles are quite interesting that they feed a lot on termite elates. They specialize in them. And I've sat once in a sighting for, there's a crested barbet. I don't think we're going to get it in the shadows. I sat for about 20 minutes with a steppe eagle on top of a termite mound, about 5 meters off the road, just watching it as there were termite elates emerging from the termite mound after some good rain. I thought as soon as it was in a sort of a bit like this, where it's a bit thick and then it opens up, and then it was sitting right there and I stopped. I thought it was going to fly away, but it actually sat there for so long, and I was just amazed that it hadn't sort of gone off. And then I was watching it as it was catching these termite elates coming out of the mound. I completely forgot to film it or take a picture or anything. I think by the time I thought, oh, I should be filming this, it's pretty cool to actually watch this happening at this distance. Put my camera out, as you do with birding, and as I went like this, it flew away. Which is just the usual occurrence when it comes to this thing we like to do called birding. Sometimes you bring your binoculars up and it flies, other times it's your camera. Okay, where am I going from here? Kind of lost a little bit of track. Also, the roads have all greened up, so I haven't been to sort of this eastern part of the reserve much, and it looks a little bit different now that it's green. We're going to go to Cubs track. We're back on Hoofpad now, and we're going to go up and then along Poachers and then onto Cub track. Okay. I wonder where my bye-bye and her baby are. Not really, I can't really call her a baby anymore. She's grown up quite a bit in the last little while. Did you see them when we were on leave?
When you were on leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there have been a sighting of them, but when it's really thick like this and there's lots of baby impalas around, if they're spending a lot of time in the west, there around Pofada Dam and the Deep Slit, which is where they do go, not a lot of people drive there, and it's really thick at the moment, so sightings have definitely been on the few and far between side of sightings since it's rained and greened up with the two of them. The boys do their usual route along the fence up to Kaya and back down to, they haven't really come down to Hace recently either. They're kind of spending time on the eastern fence line, not coming down on the southern fence line.
The last time they were at Hace was when Janaya killed.
Had they? Oh yeah. Oh, that was at Sequoia.
No, not that killed. The other killed when Brent was in the...
Ah, okay, yeah. You're probably right. Gareth responding to the lions on Cubs track, about 5 out.
We could hear you. Lions are going out onto Cubs track just near this eroded area.
Copy, Kevin. How far from Poachers Road are you?
If you look at the map, you'll see that very obvious eroded area, and we're there.
Okay, copy. Not on my map. we'll just go along cub track. So they're coming out onto the road, which is really good for us. Oh, here we go.
I just posted a pin, but they're walking south from there.
Copy. I've got 2 lionesses on Poacher's Road, just to the east of Cub's Track. They're stationary.
Yeah, I think they finished the carcass, so these lions have now crossed Cub's track and they're heading towards Cub's link.
Copy.
I'm sure they'll link up with those females shortly.
Well, there we go, everybody. We found our own lions. Look at those eyes. Maybe she was a little bit upset that I was talking quickly and loudly. Are you fine with this angle, Andrew? Okay, cool. You got me such a bad angle.
That's pretty cool.
Andrew's taking a picture of me and he says smile, so I turn around. I thought he had the camera on me because I'm trying to read any comments from all of you, and then I was at this really funny angle. I'm sure I had about 3 chins.
It's a nice one. Crazy how they vanish when they sink in the string of stars, eh?
Yeah,
Like that one at the back there.
it's crazy. You could easily drive past her thinking it's some bare soil. Maybe put that on. There's a lioness that's just dropped down and she's just almost disappeared in the string of stars here. Look at that. You could drive past her easily, even though she's only 5 meters from the road, like 12 feet. You probably can't hear it, but there's a lion roaring a little bit further away from us in the direction of the other lions. So there's a good chance that they all link up. I'm going to go this way. It's easier. See how the flies are annoying them? Their tails keep swishing from side to side as all those flies land on them. You look at the lioness closest to us, all those flies on her belly. So Kevin, I don't know if you heard it or I said it on, I don't know if you heard it on the radio or if I said it on live, but they had a zebra kill somewhere down here. And as you can see, they are pretty well fed. But they are getting harassed by the flies as they lie in the string of stars here. And their tails keep swishing the flies away. Or trying to beat the flies, rather. Insects are a really good one as a show idea, because they are quite challenging to try and put on to the live camera and keep up with them. I mean, it's not entirely impossible, but I think there's something where you can do a lot of more close-up work, because we can get off and have a closer look at insects, and that would be a really cool episode, or several episodes really. I also like the idea of the inhabitants of termite mounds. There's an idea for some of our camera traps that are not deployed at the moment, Andrew. We could try and put them at the entrances of some termite mounds and find out what calls those termite mounds home. I think a lot of the time we might be surprised at what actually comes out of them. I've actually got some good ideas. On the banks of the Deep Sloot, there's some really big burrow networks. I'm sure there's aardvarks. You can hear the lion roaring again. I don't know if you can hear it with the other vehicle that's now arrived at the sighting here. Yeah. Stations, there are now 3 vehicles with the 2 lionesses on Poachers Road, Cubs track. There's people running on. Look at those eyes. Hello, Becky. Nice to have you join. Hi, Brian.
This is Glenn. There is a Rhino having a nice mud bath, blood tan.
Jennifer, so algae at waterholes will be a sort of a seasonal thing as... Let me reposition myself, sorry everybody. As water becomes abundant and seasonal pans across the landscape, you'll get more algae. And then as it dries up, obviously that disappears as well. Depends how dry it gets. When these algae blooms do become a problem is typically kind of during the rainy season, when you have small little pans that are slowly drying up. And their tail constantly trying to swat these flies away. It is always amazing in the green season when you drive down a road and you just see this depression where something's been lying like this. If the lions have been here for a few hours, the string of stars is definitely not going to spring back up. It's one way that you can tell stories while tracking. If you've got guests and you are tracking tracks and you come across them and you're following them and you then find spots like this, you can tell the story of where they were lying down. Sometimes we've done it on these drives where you can see how they've been lying down on the roads and then they've scuffed the road or played where there's a lot of tracks. And you can see where they've been running and jumping. But it is funny because you can't really see a lot of tracks in the wet season. But you're following tracks and then you find where they've been lying down and you kind of hope you're getting closer. And you can't really see much other than the trails that they've walked in long grass. And then also when they've been lying down, similar to this. So Di, you've just got a question here regarding the arrival of the new wild dogs. And if we'll be doing broadcasts on relocations where possible. We'll definitely be filming the wild dogs arriving and their settling in process. And then that will be broadcast to you. We're not going to be doing that live though. We're going to make it into a longer episode there. Brent did talk about twice a month releasing sort of the more tales type of documentary series, and that will be one of those kind of episodes. That's kind of the content that we'll be doing on the Rietspruit, the characters of the Rietspruit, the wild dogs, the lions, and there'll be longer form episodes coming out twice a month. So that will fall into something along those lines. But if we do have opportunities to do things like rhino dehornings, then we will potentially look at broadcasting that live. But we'll also try and focus on making that into sort of more documentary type style episodes where we can have different shots and a variety of angles, and the whole team can be involved in presenting and filming those conservation initiatives. And sometimes when you broadcast conservation initiatives, you wait for a very long time for the animals or trying to find animals. I know when we brought the wildebeest onto the property end of last year, I was expecting the truck at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the truck only arrived at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can imagine, as an audience, we're going live at 3 in the morning, we tell you, and then you have to wait 12 hours before we actually go live and broadcast something. So there are challenges with that, but where possible, and if we know that something's going to be easy to manage and easy to film and easy to present that to you, we're going to look at doing that live. but a lot of the stuff we're going to try and curate really nice documentary type series to showcase it as best as we can. And then 3 times a week we're going to do short episodes on almost like a vlog style game drives on the Rietspruit. Catching up with these guys, kind of behind the scenes filming of conservation initiatives, day-to-day living, a little bit on us, maybe in the house at Hayes. The things that you don't typically see us do, especially from live drives. Going out and doing things as a team, doing fun things, filming like last night's frogging that we did, bringing that to you in an episode where it's all of us. You don't have to get bored of just listening to me for 2 hours. And then there's potentially a lot of exciting things to be shown as well, things that are happening outside of South Africa. Bigger conservation work that we're trying to get involved in and showcase a broader picture of African conservation to you, our audience, and our valued pack members. It's been a beautiful afternoon out this afternoon. The temperature's been super pleasant. The slight breeze. The rain has not come, maybe later this afternoon. What am I saying? This evening into the night. But above us there's clear blue skies again. When we were sitting with those rhinos earlier around the Sequoia Dam area, it looked like it was getting very overcast. But the wind has stopped. It's almost become still, a light breeze, which is quite nice. You can see a little bit of the string of stars. I don't quite know what that was.
Dramatic.
It's like, it wasn't contact calling, which I thought it was initially. It's not a roar. I don't know what she was trying to do. It's basically like a fake roar. But you can see those flowers that are blowing in the frame here. It's very light breeze. Perhaps she was calling at the other lions that we heard earlier, a little bit further northwest of us. Maybe they were contact calling and she's responding to them, but we couldn't hear them contact call. So she doesn't have to That's just a yawn. She doesn't realize she's been filmed. shot in the string of stars there. Gonna roar properly. Yeah, that's more of a contact call that you'd expect if she's responding to the other members of the pride and the males that are further north of us. Yeah, there's a male, he's coming behind these vehicles here. Andrew. So there's one of the boys making his way here. So that's why she's calling. We couldn't hear him, but she could hear him. Yeah, covered in blood. Is that just blood on his nose, or is that one of his scars from fighting with his brother? The lioness is up here, and now that he's arrived, there might be a little interaction between them. Looks like she's approaching him. I think she just flopped down in the grass behind a little bush next to him. Kind of to say, oh hi. Stations, one of the males has linked up with the two lionesses on Poachers Road, Cubs Track Junction. So she was communicating with other lions, but the first one was very unconvincing. That male's just smelling this tree here. I can't see what he's smelling. It looks like it's behind a red bushveld. Look at those eyes. So I think what's probably happened here is that the lionesses have had this zebra kill and the boys have probably come in and commandeered it. And these two females moved away from that area a little bit earlier than the others and have been just slightly removed from the pride. Because that male doesn't look like he's extremely well fed, as if he had been at the carcass the whole day. I mean, you can see his stomach is extended, but when male lions feed, they really gorge themselves, and it doesn't look like he's done that. He's definitely had a good feed. And Kevin said there's nothing left of that zebra, so he might have found that the females killed it last night. There's 5 of them. Would it last only one day? Guess it depends if it's an adult or a sub-adult. A foal would definitely not last very long. She's just watching him over the top of the string of stars here.
Is there a chance of us passing you?
I'm just going to pull off the road. Is Andreas going around, or is he coming this way? It's going to make space here for these vehicles to get past. A vehicle is going to drive in front of the stream, so it'll be brief. The lion's watching them. Cheers. Getting towards the last little bit of light. Females coming down the road towards us. Can I come and say hello to her sister? See, maybe get a nice interaction here. And flop. Hello, sis. Nobody's too old to play, look at them. Keeping an eye on that male. He's just watching from afar. A little bit more contact call. Look, both of the lionesses looked up in the same direction there as the one in frame gave off that contact call. I wonder if the other lionesses are going to be slowly making their way here. Mary, I think the exposure is pretty much all the way open.
It is.
last little bit of light before I put the spotlight on them. Yeah, sitting here it's dark. It looks a lot lighter on your screens than it is
Show them what it looks like for real.
in person. Yeah, so Andrew's just going to show you what it actually looks like and how good the camera is. So you can see the lionesses there. Our eyes have adapted to it. Maybe one stop down. That's how dark it is, and this camera is able to get that without us having to shine the lights on the lion. So it's really impressive. But when you're sitting here, it almost feels silly to put a spotlight on them just yet, because there's still enough light for our eyes to see. Obviously the camera starts to struggle a bit and you get a lot of graining, but it's still impressive that you can see the scene the way you are. It's pretty similar to how I'm seeing it. A little bit lighter than that, but it is very dark now. I mean, a little bit darker than what you're seeing. Some more clouds rolling in. It's amazing how quickly it changes. I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago I was talking about how clear the skies have got above us, and now all these clouds are rolling in again. And pretty quickly actually. Nothing threatening. But there's some beautiful colours on them. We've had a really good sighting with these lions. It's been interesting to watch them sort of fake roar and then contact call properly, kind of roar properly. The male arrive, a little bit of an interaction between a female and that lion. So we'll sit here for another couple of minutes. I don't actually want to put a spotlight on them because we've had such a good sighting. And the last 10 minutes of drive, we might just see if we can find something like a nocturnal species moving about. Get some genets, maybe an owl, possibly a leopard on the move. Andrew had a lot of tracks yesterday morning all over, and we've had that set, so if we sit with the lions we stand no chance. Well, there's always a chance, but extremely slim. Alright everybody, I think let's leave these lions to it. I don't really want to put a spotlight on them for 5 minutes. I think we can just leave them to it. They're not going to do too much, they're really well fed. They might link up a little bit later. I think if they're going to do it in the time that we had before the end of drive, it would have happened. But it's really too dark now to have any kind of decent view of them. can see a little bit of light on them as Andrew turns the light on to me. But let's carry on and give ourselves a shot at some of the nocturnal animals, maybe a leopard on the move. We'll go down Vulture to Boskamp and then south from there. And just see, maybe that leopard that Brent had near Leopard Dam, who was coming east or going east, pops up around Vulture or Boskamp. That's been a really nice way to spend sort of the latter parts of this drive. Thanks, girls. Cheers, thank you. We're just going to squeeze past this male. I'll put a little bit of light on him for you. Just having a groom after a big meal. But rather than put light on them for too long after a good lion sighting, I think we'll just carry on. Leave them to it. All right. Oh, I hope I didn't drive over scat. Oh no. The perils of driving around lions are really well fed, as they often relieve themselves in the area, and at night you can't see it, especially in the grass as you make your way around them. But let's see what the last little bit of drive has for us. Maybe we have something exciting. I know earlier there was a comment about insects or maybe even chameleon in amongst there, I can't recall. Maybe we can find a chameleon. Or an owl. What else is there? Genets. The other night I actually saw a porcupine. When Victoria was up on Leadwood. When was that? Was that Sunday night? Up on Leadwood with the lioness hunting those wildebeest and zebra. I was up there with chat. And in that sighting with you all. And on my way home after that, I saw a porcupine. It was actually pretty relaxed, so that's something to look for. Actually seen quite a few porcupines on this, on Blowbunk in my time here. There's been some nightjars on the road I've been trying to avoid. And then they fly down the road and land back on it. You can see it. No, you can't really. So yeah, maybe the leopard that Brent saw yesterday will be somewhere around Boskamp, and we're not too far to get down there now from where we are. Got to keep avoiding these nightjars that fly down the road, land on the road just up ahead of us instead of going in the opposite direction. Oh, there's an owl, spotted eagle owl. Yeah, I don't actually want to put the light on it now that it's flying. But I think you all got a good enough view of that for it to count as it was flying away in my light. That's nice. One of the species we were setting out to try and find now that it's dark. Where's it? Oh, right here. Ah. Oh, it's actually quite a nice silhouette of the mountains, just to pop it on briefly with the clouds coming over. Look at that. Beautiful. Let us continue. There's another one. Just going to try and get an angle better for Andrew for the spotted eagle owl. Beautiful big eyes. And it's gone. You see it looking around there. They don't really move their eyes, or their eyes can't really move in their sockets actually, not very much. And they have to move their head around like that to pinpoint prey, and that just allows their eyes to take in a lot of light as they're pretty much fixed in their sockets. Important for nocturnal hunting as they do. What's that? Just caught something here. It might just, no, now it's gone. No, there it is. It's walking. It's like a white eye shine, so it's gonna be a herbivore in all likelihood. And as Andrew says, the best bet would be a duiker. Oh, this road's a wee bit bumpy. After all the rain, we're on a downslope and the rain has eroded the road a little bit. Drainage lines are so good this time of night. A leopard on the move, making use of the drainage line. Oh. Hold on. Oh, I thought that was going to happen. There we go, nobody panic. The problem is I'm on a slope and there's a big root. I need some power. I don't want to throw Andrew off. Oop. I was too cautious earlier at losing my cameraman that I thought I'd go a little bit slower, but the slope of the road was a bit too much for the route. Well, to get over the route. Thought I had a shine of eyes here. I wonder if it was just a star through the tree. To try and find a leopard at this time of the year with the grass, all a leopard has to do is just sit down, put his head low down onto the ground, and like those lionesses melted away in the string of stars there, you can imagine a leopard just crouching down, going flat against the ground and just popping its head down. You won't even get eye shine with how dense the string of stars is in places. More nightjars flying up ahead of us. Somebody surprised us walking down the road. Come on. Give us a little bit longer this evening. Show up on the road. Everybody, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope you had some fun. It was nice to reconnect with some of the lions and see Lula and Kalula and Ringo at the start of drive. And we'll see you again tomorrow afternoon if you're going to be on Zoom, otherwise on Friday afternoon for everybody else. Have a great day.